Hey, how's it going? So I wanted to do a quick video about these polls and the election from last night and the fact that we don't have a result and all of that. But first, these polls. Seriously, if I was that bad at my job, people would die. And that's not even an exaggeration. I can't even imagine how these people have jobs anymore. The RCP national average yesterday was Biden +7, and there were states that were predicted to be battleground states that were just, blowouts. Ohio, Florida wasn't close. Iowa wasn't close. I think they had Biden up by 7% in Wisconsin yesterday. Biden won the popular vote. There's obviously no way that wasn't going to happen, but he won the popular vote by, 2% or something like that? Maybe it'll be 2.5% by the time it's all fleshed out. I believe that Trump will have performed better than he did percentage-wise against Hillary Clinton when it's all said and done. So that's phenomenally bad. And then, there was a lot of things last night that kind of show you how dishonest the media is. First off, the fact that they put so much stock in these polls kind of shows you how dishonest the media is. But on top of that, look at when they called Florida. So I was watching, and I know some outlets. So what I was mostly watching the New York Times and Fox News, and I didn't pick Fox News because it's on the right. I picked Fox News just because their map was really easy for me to navigate and for me to update and for me to look at counties and all of that stuff. Their information seemed to be pretty wonky at some points, though. And the New York Times I picked because they were reporting, or they had their little needle on North Carolina and Georgia and Florida all night, and I found that to be pretty interesting. So I mostly watched those. I saw that the Daily Wire called Florida pretty early on, but I don't think that ABC, CNN, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, Fox, the AP, I don't think any of them did. I know Fox finally called Florida at probably after midnight East Coast time, and we knew Florida was solidly Trump as soon as the Panhandle came in. What was that, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time? We knew. You could look at the spread in Miami-Dade County, and you could look at, how Trump performed in certain counties compared to 2016, and you could tell that it was for sure for Trump. And I get it, 2000 made people a little gun-shy with Florida, but look at other things. The same people who wouldn't call Florida called Arizona. They called Arizona when 40% of the vote was in. And it's looking at this point like Arizona might still be on the table. So, if Trump... So I find all that to be very, it just is it confirms my own bias, right? I know that the media is biased anti-Trump. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's just how it is. And this just confirms that the media was quick to pull the trigger on states for Biden, but refused to do so for Trump. North Carolina, I don't know why North Carolina is still not called. Georgia, I don't know why Georgia is still not called. I guess it's mathematically possible that those races could tighten, but I just don't know. There was a lot of stuff that happened last night that is pretty questionable. So Wisconsin, I posted a meme that was obviously misinformation, although I did fact check it, and when I Googled how many registered voters there were in Wisconsin, the number that I came up with was 3,200 or 3,200,000 something, and there were 3,300,000 votes cast or counted at this point. And so that supported what the meme said, but apparently there's same-day registration in Wisconsin, and so that number could be larger. But even if it's going with the other number that I saw, which was 3.68 million, this means that 85% of the electorate voted, which is just a phenomenally high number. in what election does 80% of all registered voters vote? And actually, it would have been higher than that, because 3.3 million is what? I mean, that's like 88% of 3.6 million. So, no, it's more than that. It's like 91%. So, in what election does 91% of the electorate vote? That's very fishy to me. I'm not saying that there is, something, amiss. I don't know, but it's definitely worth looking into. Michigan, I saw at one point last night, there were some 138,000 votes that were mysteriously found, and they were 100% for Biden. Like the total jumped 138,000 for Biden to 0 for Trump. Also, I heard reporting, and I don't know if it's true or not, that there was a county in western Michigan that was counted reverse. So the votes for Trump were counted as votes for Biden and are reported that way. And so those totals have come off the board, and that is historically a Trump county. I don't know if that's true or not, but there seem to be a lot of bank errors in your favor for Joe Biden and not any for Trump. It's all very fishy. This Pennsylvania thing, what's going on there with people being allowed to vote potentially today. I mean, I know you're not legally allowed to vote today, but they said they're going to accept ballots through Friday, and they don't have to be postmarked, and all of these things. And the Pennsylvania Supreme Court approved all of this, and Pennsylvania has been rife with shady elections in the past. If there is ever a state that has shady elections, it's Pennsylvania. And so that's all very concerning. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I don't know. Early on in the night, when Trump had a 700,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania with 64% reporting, and he had a 350,000 vote lead in Michigan with like 80% of the vote counted, and he had a 130,000 vote lead in Wisconsin with like 92% of the vote counted on the particular sources that I saw, which this would have been like at the average between the New York Times and Fox News. But I also was looking at HQ Decision Desk. I also looked at AP. I also looked at Google. I looked at Facebook's numbers. And everybody seemed to be pretty much in agreement, roughly, with those. With all of that, I would say I felt pretty confident of a Trump win. With Trump losing Arizona, or Arizona being called against Trump, okay, so my original prediction, originally yesterday morning, I was predicting Trump 279 to Biden 259. That was kind of where I was at. And then I probably made it more like Trump 308 to Biden 230 at one point. And that was kind of based on Trump winning all of the blue wall states that he looked like he was gonna easily take. And now I don't know. It's literally to the point where I'm not confident in a Trump victory, but I'm not confident in a Biden victory either. Trump could still mathematically so there's that district up in Maine that looks like it's going to go for Trump. There is a possibility that Trump's going to win both Arizona and Nevada. I'm not counting those for Trump right now, but even if Trump doesn't win those, I think that the map as it is right now, if Trump wins Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, I think if he gets that district in Maine, he's still, that puts him at 270. So it'd be 270 to 268, I think. I haven't gone back and double-checked the math on that. But if Trump wins Pennsylvania and he wins Nevada, the race is over. If Trump wins Pennsylvania and he wins Arizona, the race is over. If Biden wins Georgia, basically the race is over. There's so many things that are all too close to call that could happen, and at this point, I just don't have the data. Looking at the Georgia numbers, I was looking at DeKalb County and Fulton County, and they were both on what the numbers that I was looking at last night were reporting 100%. And there was one county in South Central Georgia that in 2016 went for Trump that wasn't reporting 100%, and seemed to be the only county that wasn't reporting 100% when I looked last night. But I mean, that obviously seems to not be the case. Maybe there's outstanding absentee ballots. I don't know. And, what rate are those going to go for Biden? I'm sure that the conventional wisdom is that they're going to go for Biden over Trump, but, to what percent? The same thing in Pennsylvania. So allegedly there's 2 million absentee ballots that have not been counted. Although that number seems to be pretty fluid. Let's say there is, and let's say they go 2 million absentee ballots, that goes 60% for Biden. Well, that's a 400,000 vote differential, right? Well, so 400,000, at least with the last numbers that I looked at, which was a few hours ago, which may have changed, wouldn't be enough to put Biden over Trump. It would be really close, because I think at that time when I looked, Trump was only up by 550,000. So who knows? It's all very interesting, and this has definitely been it's been an interesting freaking election. I honestly believe that if COVID hadn't happened, which did not happen because of Trump, and to the people out there who think that they're just morons, it happened to Trump too. COVID happened to every country, and America did not handle COVID uniquely bad. We let states handle things as they did, and some states did poorly, some states did better, and now the states that did better are being dragged down because COVID's eventually going to get everybody. I don't mean it's going to get every person, it's going to kill everybody. I mean that there's no part of the globe that's going to be able to fend off COVID, except for apparently North Korea. So, and that may be true because they're so locked down, and it may be true or it may not be true because they're just dishonest, who knows. But either way, I think that if COVID hadn't have happened, Trump would have sailed to victory last night, like 340, or whatever. I think Minnesota would have went for Trump. I think that would have been more in play. I think Arizona would not have been questionable. I think that even maybe states like New Mexico might have been more in play. But there's just so many people who COVID is their main issue, that it definitely skewed Trump's approval and hurt the economy. And so by hurting the economy, like, that hurts people. And I definitely see people talking about how Trump's presiding over the worst economy and blah, blah, blah. Yes, he is. It's all Trump. It's 100% Trump's fault that the economy is bad right now. And the economy technically isn't even that bad. All things considered, the economy is pretty damn good considering what we have gone through for the last 9 months. So anyway, I'm optimistic at this point. I don't know who's going to win. I'm certainly less optimistic than I was last night. Last night I was feeling pretty good. At this point, it doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, I also noticed that the pollsters got the Senate way wrong. It looks like the Republicans are going to maintain a majority in the Senate. That will be great. So, this is going to prevent the Democrats from pushing through all their bullshit, like trying to pack the Senate with getting Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. statehood, trying to end the filibuster, trying to do all of these things to fundamentally change America. I think that if we hold the Senate, then we're going to have Joe Biden, who is going to be basically a lame duck president from day one. He's not going to be able to accomplish anything. There is going to be an increase in both the Republican majority, or the Republican majority in the Senate, and the Republicans will probably take the House in the midterms in 2022 if Biden is elected. So as long as the Republicans maintain the Senate, the Republicans will be a roadblock to Biden pushing the far left agenda that not necessarily he backs, but the people who are pulling the strings in the Democratic Party definitely back. So there are a lot of positives that come from this, even if Trump loses. The Republicans got the highest percentage of the non-white vote that they've gotten since, I believe, 1960. That's incredible. This kind of thwarts the narrative that Trump is racist, which, of course he's not. That's absurd. But, Trump gained in majority Hispanic neighborhoods. I believe it was plus 12 over where he was in 2016. And so basically this gives me a lot of optimism. Whoever we run, and I say we like I'm a Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered libertarian, but Joe Jorgensen's a freaking joke. So whoever gets put up in 2024 to run against Joe Biden, if he does end up pulling this out, and it won't be against Joe Biden. Let's be honest, it's going to be against somebody else. It's probably going to be against Kamala Harris, but Joe Biden will be 82 years old in 2024. He is not going to run for president. He is already senile. He's already unable to like string together sentences. So that's whoever it is. I think that Americans are going to have they're going to have a lot less of a good taste for democratic policies once we start having more violence in these major metropolitan centers. Once the economy is crippled by Biden's taxes, by Biden's lockdown, by all of those things. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not feeling too bad. I'm not the kind of guy who like thinks it's all doom and gloom because Trump may have lost. And even if and when if he does lose, and even if the Democrats take the Senate, even if the Democrats take the House, well, they're going to take the House. That's not really up for debate. Even if all of those things happen, it's not doom and gloom. There is still a lot. There's a lot of positive to come out of this. And you look at demographic shifts. Arizona. The reason Arizona is become a battleground state is because people moving out of California. The reason that Texas is becoming closer is the same thing. It's not necessarily an increase in the Latin vote, although that is probably part of it too. It's mostly an increase in people leaving California and bringing their politics with them. People left California because they don't like the politics of California, but they brought their politics with them, and they're trying to California my Arizona. Like, you keep on seeing shirts and stickers that say "Don't California my Arizona." I think that in time, people will start to shift, and they will start to see this. And I don't think it's impossible to believe that in 2028, California is a red state again. It wasn't that long ago that California was a red state. And so there are a lot of things that I see when I look at the numbers that I see as positives. And I'm not going to be all doom and gloom and feel despair over this. So anyway, that's all I got. Have a good day. See ya.